People ask me every day when they're trying to break into the medical sales industry, should they do medical device or pharmaceutical sales? And I've done both in my career. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of both of these, when you're trying to break in. Before we move forward though, please subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button on the lower right hand corner so you could stay in tune with all the latest, medical sales advice and information trying to break in or looking to transfer into a new, to start your new career. So getting back to the topic today, pharma or device. Now, again, I spent years in both. If you ask me my opinion, I would definitely choose a career in medical device sales. And I'm going to give the pros and cons of why for both of these. Starting with pharma. There's nothing wrong with pharma. It's a great industry. You could have a great career, do really well, a lot of great benefits. It's still a very interesting and exciting field to get into. But here are some of the pros of pharma. Number one, you're gonna have freedom. You only could call on doctor's offices, so many hours a day. You're not covering cases. So you're going to be in and out of a lot of these offices. It changed from years ago when you used to be going into offices. You would wait a while in the back, waiting for doctors to come out as you're dropping off samples. And as they're signing your sample pad, you get a couple of minutes with them to talk about your latest product or new detail aid or whatever you have. So there's only so many hours a day that you can do that. So you're definitely going to have a lot of freedom. Some companies, they might have those electronic sign-in pads where they are tracking, where you are, every minute. But overall, you're not covering cases till late at night. You're able to, you're on your own. You're working with your regional manager, district manager once every month or once every, 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So you have a lot of freedom. That's a big plus. They also typically start you out at a slightly higher base salary, which, when you're younger, in your early 20s, looking to break in, a few $1,000s here or there makes a big difference. And typically the pharma industry starts you out a little higher. Also, a lot of pharma companies, they offer a company car, which is a great benefit when you're starting out and also, throughout your career. I mean, anyone would take a free car if they can get one. They provide great benefits, 401k, typically, medical, dental, vision, expense account, entertainment budget. All these things typically come with a pharma position. So that's all great. The cons for me were I just didn't find the same excitement that I did in medical device sales. I loved being in the operating room. So I loved helping doctors. It's a lot of times when there's challenges going on within the case, you have to think on your feet and really be able to react quickly to help a doctor, navigate through some of these procedures. In some of the roles that you have, you might just be handing off equipment, but there's a lot of roles out there where the medical device rep is hands-on working with the clinician, and they're looking at you for advice on how to get through this next phase in the procedure. So that was also a very, very rewarding fact for me. I also didn't have the other, con. You're not really working with patients in pharmaceutical sales. You're, obviously helping doctors. And once in a while, a doctor will share a success story that they had providing one of your prescriptions to one of his or her patients, but you don't really know the patients. You don't really see them and understand, who Miss Smith is, and now as opposed to that in device, there's sometimes, especially when I worked in spinal cord stimulation, I knew the patients intimately. I mean, they left with my cell phone after the procedure and they would call you and give you, success stories that they had. So you knew about them. They would even, give you insight into their families. They were essentially just like the doctor has patients. They were your patients. So it was very, very rewarding seeing how they were able to overcome their pain after the procedure and knowing that you had a hand in that, helping out. That's just tremendous to your self-worth, that, it didn't matter about how much money you made that day or that quarter, knowing some of these things that you were a part of, that you had a real effect on someone's life is incredible. So that's one of the big pros for me for device. Again, like I said, I love being in the OR, love working with these guys. That was a rush a lot of times, especially when things go wrong and you help overcome those challenges. But some of the cons, though, of device, are sometimes you're going to have long hours. There's times that you're going to have an unpredictable day, many days out of the week than you want to. You could have plans for dinner with your family. If you have kids, they have any sporting events. It's not a guarantee you're going to be there, because sometimes cases go long, sometimes cases get added on, and things change. So, I mean, there were days that I was, in operating rooms as early as 6 a.m. and didn't leave till 2 a.m. in the morning. I mean, it happens sometimes. So you got to be prepared that your time isn't yours. You're not going to have the freedom like you do in pharma. Also, typically, you're going to get started out at a lower base because in med device, all you care about are your commissions. That's how you really make your money. All the high-paying device jobs that I know, where reps didn't want to get promoted, they like being in a sales rep role. Number one, because they could work on their own and not have to worry about managing others, which could be stressful. But also, they can make serious money. I know some guys that were making over $1 million a year because they grew great territories that they were making outstanding commissions. So you didn't care if you were getting 80, 100 to 130, 40 base. At the end of the day, you're working on your commissions and your bonuses. So again, overall, this is just a little insight into both sides so you have a better understanding, especially if you've never been in the industry or if you've been on one side and not the other. But please feel free to reach out to me. You can send me an email at joe@reppath.com or go right on my website, www.reppath.com. And please feel free to reach out. I offer all kinds of training in terms of career guidance, resume optimization, interview prep, whatever you need to move forward. I'm here to help. So please stay tuned. And I'll be continuing to send updated information as the weeks go on. Thank you. Take care.